Hey guys, welcome. So I'm going to try to do a book review. I've done this before where I try to do a book, and it's before I had any type of camera except for my phone and just one webcam, and it didn't work out very well. So I'm going to do my webcam of a book. So now this book has a lot of nostalgia for me. I actually love playing the game when I can. I play it when I can, but there's not many people that play it because, well, it's old. I'm old. Another thing is too is it's not designed for tournament play, and most people don't like not to have tournament play and all that anymore. This game was about having fun in a way. The way that I mean by fun is that it was designed for 3 people, player 1, player 2, and a game master. So it's kind of like in between a role-playing game and a war game. Not quite a warband game, because warband games like, you guys, everybody pretty much knows about Mordheim or Necromunda. Those games before the modern iterations of, was it Necromunda came out with a new one. I don't even know if that's a warband game anymore. I haven't checked out the new ones, nor am I interested in it. I do love skirmish games, but games like Kill Team and stuff, Kill Team's fun, but it's very limited, in my opinion. And I reserve the right to be wrong. So, and it doesn't mean I won't play a Kill Team with somebody though, because I enjoy playing with people. But anyway, let's get to the next one. Hopefully I can do the correct click here. Oh, darn it. I messed up. Yep, I did it again. Hey, there. I figured it out. Darn technology. Anyway, this is a hardbound book. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this looking good. Of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I wonder if I can lift this up just a little bit and see if you guys can see it just a little bit better. Get to see my mess. Look at this professionalism. Oh, yeah. Oh, the professionalism. Alright. And I might actually take my face off. Let's see. Let's stop my face. There we go. Alright. So, Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. This is like awesome. Look at the artwork on this. This is punk. This is all metal and punk. It's like we don't know what we're doing with this game yet. We don't care. We kind of do have an idea of what we're gonna do with this game, but we don't really care what everybody else thinks. This was metal, A lot of the things from 40k you will recognize, like but the universe is a big place, and whatever happens, you will not be missed. That is pretty much the same as everything else nowadays. But I love the way that all this looks and set up. This is definitely for a more advanced style of gaming. We used RPG dice, all but the 20-sider, I think, and it didn't really have any plastics or anything to come with it except for infantry, and of course the beautiful 1980s style scenery. I actually want to start making some of these, especially this guy right here. and smoke bombs. The forest from, I think these are from just what was that, fish tank terrain. Yeah, just simple, but yet it still invited your imagination. So troop characteristics, which was interesting. If you guys know anything about Warhammer, let me see if I can scoot this in just a little bit. Here we go. So Warhammer 40k now does not have, I mean, it has movement, but the weapon skill, ballistic skill are totally different. This is based off charts, not based off 3+ and you hit. This is like, okay, my weapon skill is 3, your weapon skill is 3. Oh, we both hit on, I think on this one, 5s. You know, ballistic skill is on a chart. It's, if I remember correctly, still on this one, it's your die roll plus ballistic skill. If you hit a 7 or better, you hit. Strength is based off a chart, not, and you can't just hurt anything just because you have, just even if you have a low strength. If you try to hit like a tank or something, you're not gonna be able to do it. Toughness, basically the same. Wounds is basically the same. Most things only have 1 wound. Even your Space Marine, your yeah. So Space Marines now have 2 wounds now. I think 2 wounds. This one only had they'll only have 1 wound for the most part. This is a normal human. Initiative is 3. Initiative. So initiative is fun because depending who this gives you, this lets you know who swings first. So even if you charge, you'll have a plus. I think in this game you have a +1 to hit if you charge. But if someone has an initiative 4 and you only have initiative 3, they're going to swing first. You may not be able to swing. Attacks is how many times you swing. Okay, so leadership, intelligence, cool, and willpower. So leadership, everybody pretty much knows now that it's been, I think 10th edition has leadership. I can't remember now. I'll have to look at them. But you know, this dictates if you run. Intelligence is of how big of a weapon, or how complex of a weapon you can use. And then coolness is how well you deal with being under fire, and willpower is to deal with any type of psych or stuff. Now, another thing about the picture, really quick. That's a disintegrator gun. That was what the original Space Marines were supposed to come with, was disintegrator guns, not bolt guns. Or bolters. So yeah, oh, I love the models. If I could have a collection of some of these models, like the Eldar, I can't. Eldar and the Slan, a Zote. I know they remade the Zote earlier. But yeah, armored troopers. I don't have any of. I have some armored troopers, but I just made them into Space Marines. Yeah. And then I do actually have one of these dreadnoughts, and he's painted up. But I would love to get like a battle droid, an Imperial battle droid. And then, I mean, Blood Angels. Those classics right there, you know, and how you organize your troops. Just artwork. Artwork is just, it's human. That's what I like about it. It's human. You can see mistakes. You can see how they're, sorry, I didn't mean to tilt it that far. But you can see the mistakes in it, and it feels like it's gritty. You don't really know what's going on. It's human. You know, turn sequences are a little bit different. So you have the movement, shooting hand to hand, then reserve movement. The psionics, then rallying, because your troops can run off the board instead of just disappearing off the board, or what's the new? Oh yeah, they just don't count for anything. It's the new way of doing morale. Just kind of, I mean, I understand why it's a board game, so they want to keep your pieces on the board unless they've been taken off by weapons fire. But that doesn't really. This is why I say Warhammer 40k 10th edition is just. It's more of a board game. It doesn't represent combat as well. I mean, 1-page rules kind of does the same thing when in melee, but you can't run them off the board. But I don't know. There's something in between I like where running off the board and still being able to chance to regroup after you know, hippity hoppity out of there, right? So unit cohesion was still in right here, 2 inches. It's always been 2 inches, and it has not changed. Firing and targeter, how line of sight works. Here's something that was very interesting: is that the base sizes were not standard. So you could everybody knows a circle, and maybe even the square, but a hexagon or even a diamond, or how they will use a hexagon sideways boxing, or square and hexagon sideways. So you had different ways of doing it because your line of sight only had a 90-degree angle on the model. You're gonna have to excuse me. I'm still fighting off a cold. Yeah, I mean, so your save throw is still the same, you know, but now you have short and long ranges. It depends on it. It changes your ballistic skill. Or it doesn't. Oh no, just to hit. So like a las pistol, you gain +2 to hit. Let's see if you can see that. Sorry, my light's still. I'm still working on the light situation, guys. You're gonna have to forgive me. +2 to hit, but -1 to hit on long range. +2 to hit on short, -1. And then even if you have like more than a 6, you can always try to hit, even if you need 7s or 8s to hit, right? After all your modifiers. So, here's the wound chart, right? Most of you will know this wound chart from 3rd edition on. I don't know if 2nd edition has this the same way. I think it's the same chart in 2nd edition too. But I think this wound chart was all the way from 1st to 7th edition. And everybody knew this wound chart by heart. Now you have explosions and how they deviate. This is before the scatter die. You guys in Horus Heresy will know about the scatter die, or anybody that knows about the older ones. But yeah, this mostly, I mean, oh yeah, Catachin Devil. They had actually monsters you can actually come across. So this book has a lot of. Oh, here we go. The defender weapon skill versus attacker weapon skill. So you have defender weapon skill versus attacker, right? If you're a human, which has 3, fighting a human at 3, you need 5s to hit on a 6-sided dice. Now this chart was changed in 3rd edition. 2nd edition was kind of different how they did combat, right? 2nd edition I'm not too familiar with. I skipped that edition. But this was the fun part of this. One of the fun parts about the book is that your weapon skill can actually make it harder for your opponent to hit you. Not that you just didn't hit better, but you had a defensive stat too. Weapon skill was an offensive and defensive stat. And then you had to hit modifiers on those too. Like if you used an improvised weapon like a claw or a bite or a bottle, you know, it was a -2 to hit. Let's see, still maxims to hit were still the same, but you could follow up. Close combat was actually harder to get into in this one. Oh yeah, look at that, a whole bunch of Eldar, some Eldar getting blown away. Yeah, you could break off from hand-to-hand combat, not like on the more recent editions. I think 10th edition you can break away, but there could be some problems. You can pursue and route them. There we go. This is a story about a guy who's trying to get into the Space Marines. They're mystical warriors. Let's see. Yeah. Reserves and how you could commit troops from the rear to move up. Extra moves. Let's see. Yeah, it was just a very different time. Vehicles were different. You can build your own vehicles because they didn't have any. And then and they still had the wounds for vehicles, even though they called them like damage points. But every time they got a wound, you would roll and see what would happen to the vehicle. They could blow up right off the bat, because it's just the way it is. But they had an acceleration, deceleration, and what's the other thing? Oh, I think did I miss it? I think I missed it. Oh yeah, they had a turning radius. You couldn't just turn on a dime. Depending on what their radius was, is how far they can turn, which was kind of cool idea. So it really did matter. But yeah, just let you guys just look through some of this. Psychers. Psychers were brutal in this game. So there's the black ships. Everybody knows black ships. Let me move this up. Sorry, I didn't mean to move. There we go. I'm trying to get this better. Well, yeah, guys. I mean, there's Psychers, and then here's some of the weapons. I wanted to go to the weapons. So plasma pistol, plasma needle, power axe, power swords, shuriken, and anybody could be armed with anything, right? There was no army lists, right? You kind of just built your army. Oh, there we go. This was a scratch. From what I understand, this was a scratch-built Land Raider. This is before the production. I have a Rogue Trader Land Raider, and yeah, it's not like that. It's close to it, but look at all of them. They all have the disintegrator guns. None of them have bolters. I actually want to 3D print out some of these guys like this. I think it'd be cool. Because I think those are all LE2s. Yeah, I would love to have at least one LE2, a real metal LE2. But, still got to be content with what you have. Here's a Space Marine picture, or Space Marine armor picture. Or actually, power armor, I should say. It's not even Space Marine, because anybody can have power armor. You got some robots, and I'm just going to kind of flip through. One of the funny thing is, I wonder if I can find it. Hat. There you go. There's a classic picture. I forget what they call them. Crusoe something rather. Yeah, there's the Emperor. Totally different. Totally metal. Yeah, so humans are still basically 3s all the way down the line, but Space Marines only had a toughness of 3, but a strength of 4. And their armor save was only a 4 up. They could wear mesh under their power armor to make it a 3 up, but then they lose a half a inch of movement. There's your Custodes, Mechanicus, Arbites, Astronomicon, Administratum. So the Custodes, they were still pretty advanced. They had weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4. So they were stronger and tougher than, or they're stronger as Marines but tougher than Marines. 2 wounds apiece. So they were no joke, and they didn't wear shirts. So I think they have a picture of it here. I printed out some models. But yeah. Inquisition, Psychers. Yeah. If you guys could ever get a handle on this, there we go. Here's some Space Marines right here. Yeah, see there. Strength 4, toughness 3. Let's see, yeah, but they had better leadership, intelligence, coolness, willpower. The Space Marines weren't. I mean, really, if you take the lore of Space Marines, they're really not that tough. They're tough, they're scary, but they're not that tough. Like, if you read the books and stuff. And then of course you got a happy Space Marine, you know, with his black carapace armor or black carapace on him. Yeah, there's here's some of the chapters here and their iconography. There's only one I don't think they really have anymore is the Rainbow Warriors, which I think someone online is doing that, and their paint scheme's actually pretty cool. The Space Wolf Monastery, there you go. It's totally something different. And some story, some background. The Imperial Army. There was no Imperial Guard or what is it called now? The Astra Militarum. Yeah, something gay like that. I mean, I know why they named it that way, but and the Rogue Trader, where it's based off of. See, here's one of the things too, right? So if you could pre-generate their equipment, what they have. You know, there was points in this, but the points are very few and far between. So here's a field police, right? You know, Space Marines were more Marines, not super soldiers. They had some super soldier qualities to them, but they were still more human. The assassins. I would love to get some of these models if I ever could. And then I've always loved this diorama when I was a kid. So, oh, there's the Emperor again with his guard. This is the game that really brought me into wargaming. Now, the other I'll do next week. I'll do tank charts and show you abhumans, so halflings and Ogrins. Beastmen, you get a Beastmen. They're barely. Yeah, look at them squats, buddies. So sad that they lost their aesthetic for the new, what is it called, League of Voltan. Yeah, they're not squats. They're squat wannabes, but they're not squats. You got to have a guy with a trike and a cigar. Yeah, I love these. You can definitely tell the aesthetic is definitely different. The way society was. I mean, this orc is crushing that Space Marine's head. You know, you don't get pictures like that anymore. Space Marines are heroic and stuff, which is cool. I don't mind heroes. I love heroes. Like this guy got trashed in the head by the guy he's shooting up here. Yeah. Yorks. And then here's one of the cool thing. It was a bestiary, right? You had like zombies, ambles, bouncers, warp entities. You know. Oh, here we go. Gene Stealer. Totally different. Not Tyrannid. There was Tyranids in this, but you didn't have like the big monstrous ones. You had more Termagants, Homagant style guys. But they all carried like heavy bolters and bolt guns and las cannons. And you could just use them as anything, you know. You could, these weapons were the biological versions, they said. And so you could have a horse, you could have this really cool cat, you know, a Petra squirrel, which are terrifying, you know, stuff like that. Let's see. What else can we... I'm just going to flip through a few more pages. Yeah, you got... And then the advanced gamer where you have planetary landings and stuff like that. One thing that they don't do anymore is... I love this part. Where is it? There it is. Okay. This has a D1000 chart of scenarios. A plot generator. It has 1,000... I think it's 1,000. It rolls a D1000, but it has several things. Like for instance, if you right here, I'll roll right here. if you rolled on chart 8 and then you roll 50 to 60, a spacecraft carrying documents or scientific data of great importance has crashed on a death world. Two factions, say human and orcs, arrive simultaneously to claim the prize, and the battle ensues. Survivors may wish to pitch in, and then there are at the planet's own inhabitants, of course. Should the ship have crashed on a marsh and be slowly sinking, the whole thing acquires stable sense of urgency, or sorry, a suitable sense of urgency. So yeah, there you go. You have a reason you're fighting, not just because you're trying to collect points. What are you fighting for? That's something that's missing now in modern 40K is you're not fighting for anything. You're just fighting for points, which means nothing. Usually when you're fighting, you have an actual objective, but then they go into how to take care of your brushes. Remember, we didn't have internet at this time, so we needed these type of things to help us out. But yeah, and shading, and they show you how to shade. The stuff that we know pretty much nowadays is pretty easy, right? And then how to collect junk. And get that all. And detailing and painting. And then, of course, the creators of it drawn in pretty metal ways. Yeah, guys. So this book has a lot of nostalgia for me. And there was some more lore here. A lot of nostalgia. Hey, this picture is the basis for all Sisters of Battle, right there. That's how they based everything on everything, on the Sisters of Battle. And then, of course, these are the play sheets for the battle at the farm. You're supposed to tear these out. And there's templates. There's no flamer template. Flamers were blast templates only. But, you could actually use, I guess, counters. These are paper models for doing battle at the farm. And you could do it two-dimensional for a while until you figured it out. These are actually official GW models. Paper models. Yeah, and then of course you had the advertisements. And then of course the same thing on the back. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. This book has a lot of nostalgia for me. And flip over back to the next one. Yeah, the book has a lot of nostalgia for me. I remember good times with my dad playing it. I remember him giving me a squad that was about to die by an AT-AT. Yes, an Imperial AT-AT, which a guy used on that the game. Because, as I said, we didn't have plastics. We had plastic models. And it even says, hey, build your own vehicles because there's plastic models. We're not expecting to be able to build anything. And I think the Land Raider came out first, I think. And then I can't remember which ones. The Rhino I know came out pretty soon in 1.5, and then the Predator, and then the Speeder came out, and then you had the Black Vincent bikers, and then the jet bikes. Yes, Space Marines had jet bikes. All of them had jet bikes. Even Imperial Army had jet bikes. I know the Horus Heresy nowadays is kind of playing toward that. But anyway, guys, I hope this was any sort of interesting for you. And I hope that you enjoyed it. And, well, God bless. And I'll be praying for you. Thanks for watching, guys.